Welcome, football fans. Buckle up for another hard-hitting episode of Let's Talk XFL, the only podcast solely focused on the XFL. From a sunny Southwest Florida studio, here's your host, Michael Lathrop.
Hello, football fans. This is episode 40, more announcements, and the Huddle. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Royal Retros by 503 Sports. Royal Retros are the king of throwbacks. Royal Retros by 503 Sports provides a line of merchandise from legendary defunct leagues such as the XFL 1.0. If you've always wanted to get yourself a quality Las Vegas Outlaws He Hate Me or Los Angeles Extreme Tommy Maddox jersey, perhaps even an OG XFL's team's t-shirt, we have you covered. Simply click on the link provided in the show's description and notes and enter the code LETSTALKXFL at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase. As of this episode's recording, there are 194 days remaining till XFL 3.0 kicks off. Another week has passed, and we have more announcements. As usual, later in the show, I will be joined by a guest. Defensive end, outside linebacker Khalil Patterson joins the show to discuss his football journey and showcase experience. But first, we have those developments to cover. So, let's get to it.
Did you hear the news? Did you hear the news?
On August 1st, the XFL announced the hiring of Jeff Altstadter as Vice President of Communications. In this role, he will lead the day-to-day communication operations, aligning with the league's public and media relations strategies with its priorities to drive awareness and build team and player visibility on a national and local level. In doing so, he will work with all senior leaders across all business units and business operations to develop communication strategies and execute plans that will advance the league's objectives with focus on protecting, shaping, and telling the XFL story in a compelling, creative, and unexpected ways. Altstadter will also lead efforts in identifying reputational issues and provide real-time support regarding enterprise-level events, including business transactions, material announcements, and crisis situations at both the league and team levels. He will report to Janet Dosch. Then, on August 2nd, the XFL announced their multi-year partnership with Ticketmaster, making Ticketmaster the official ticketing partner of the league. All 43 games of the XFL season across each of the league's 8 markets will be ticketed by Ticketmaster. The XFL will embrace a mobile-first ticketing strategy, giving fans convenient and easy tools to purchase and manage their tickets. Fans can use their mobile device to easily manage verified tickets via download to a digital wallet or the XFL mobile app powered by Ticketmaster, which will be available later this year. In addition, fans can take advantage of the virtual venue, a try-before-you-buy experience which offers 3D stadium views so fans can make an educated seat selection. Then, on August 3rd, the XFL launched The Huddle, which is essentially 3.0's version of the Fan Advisory Network. According to the XFL's website and the Huddle's page, it is an exclusive fan network made up of people like you who want to be heard, connect, and share insights about the league and its 8 teams. As a member, you will receive exclusive benefits throughout the year, participate in surveys, polls, and discussions specific to on and off the field topics, and to give insights on how the XFL can deliver what fans want. Space is limited. To sign up, go to www.xfl.com/the-huddle. Also, on August 3rd, St. Louis head coach Anthony Becht made a guest appearance on the XFL STL talk show. Host Jason, a.k.a. Dirty, took his shot and asked Coach Becht, is St. Louis keeping the name Battlehawks? Here is the clip of his response.
Coach, now, the biggest thing, I know you probably can't answer this, but the biggest thing is people want to know.
Of course
Are we keeping the name? Are we keeping the name the Battlehawks? I'm sure you can't tell us, but I'm going to shoot my shot and ask anyways, Coach.
Well, TBA on that, right? So that's not going to get announced on your show. You guys didn't pay me enough money to actually make that announcement tonight. So we're going to hold off on that in case you guys get those funds. Let me know, and we may make that happen. But listen, I can promise you this. The league is very smart. They're very diligent. They understand what works and what doesn't. I think for all the cities and all the logos and team names and what everybody's going to be cheering for, I think everybody's going to be happy about the decisions the league makes. I've been very impressed with Danny Garcia, DJ, Redbird Capital. They got everything in line. They have great vision. and they are really about the players, number one, and the fans. And that'll be the biggest difference maker between all the professional leagues, in my opinion, moving forward, is that's something that they lean heavily to. And I think everybody's going to be happy about the announcement, the decision, when those all come out, it'll be something that I'll be a part of, the league will be a part of. It's going to be a fun day.
All right, now, go ahead, Big Pop.
Question? Yeah, I'm sorry about this, because I know I'm looking at some. We got a lot of people that are watching, and I'm thankful. And this is not the first time. This is all the time, because this is a fan-based show. And one of the questions I know is, do we have any type of idea of when they're going to make announcements, the next upcoming announcements?
Yeah, I think the league has been very strategic in trying to kind of lay out a roadmap of putting information out so the fans have something to chew on for a little bit, and then they give it a little bit more. Look, with the NFL season getting ready to rock and roll here come right now with preseason, and then ultimately into the first couple weeks of the season, they'll be diligent and make sure there's a window of time where that makes sense. I can't predict when that'll be. I got to think at some point in September, early October, we can expect those things to roll out. Don't quote me on that, but I know the league's just making sure everything's in line, and we can expect some great news. It's not just that news too. Logos, all those kind of cool things that are going to come out. I think people can really gravitate to that and be excited about it when it gets announced.
My takeaways from Coach Becht's answer: unfortunately, we have a few months to wait, but it sounds like 2020's branding is likely to return. Although the nicknames may return, I anticipate updated logos and perhaps even a tweak in the color schemes. We should prepare ourselves for some changes. As I have previously mentioned, I will now be joined by defensive end outside linebacker Khalil Patterson to discuss his football journey and showcase experience. Welcome, Khalil. I appreciate taking the time to join the show to discuss your football journey and your XFL Showcase experience.
I appreciate you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You played your collegiate ball at Division III Methodist University in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where you earned various honors. Can you take a moment and share how this opportunity came about and some of your college experience for our listeners?
Well, my college experience, it was, I wouldn't say it was rough. I would say it was different opposed to the Division I's and the Division II's. Regardless, I still had to work. I still had to grind. I still had to put the time and efforts into my craft and, watch films just like the rest of the guys. I had to play great ball just like the rest of the guys. So at the end of the day, I did some great things in college. I accomplished a lot. I didn't accomplish winning a championship, which was number one every single year. But I was able to, build friendships and relationships with people, staff, and just have fun playing ball. But definitely a grind. Division III, you don't get anything handed for you. Most of the time you're paying for everything, man. You're paying for everything. You barely get anything free. I mean, probably the only things we got free were the meals on Friday nights before we traveled on, to go play on Saturday in another state or whatever. So that's the only thing we really got free, man. But you got to grind, man. And it's fun because you understand why you're doing it. But you're just like, man, like when you look at Division I's and Division II's, you're like, man, they got it. I wish. I got friends that played at Division I's and, they sitting here coming home every summer with new gear. They coming here with new cleats, this, that, and the third. I'm like, dang, man. But you understand why you do it, and you got to have a passion and a love for the game, man.
I can relate. I know my listeners know this. I was a Division III collegiate athlete, but I was a soccer player. So that's where my skill set was. Doesn't mean I don't love football, But the reality is I can relate on all of that. The build-up with triple sessions before the season even started. 8 o'clock practice, then you still have your noon, and then you're like, that's all for a week and a half before it even starts. You still are grinding. You're still putting in the work, no different than anybody else. I remember the off seasons, we still had like spring ball or even the winter where we just played indoor. I can't imagine it's any different. You guys still worked. It was a grind. I know the baseball guys did it. The lacrosse guys did it. I don't think some people realize the D3 isn't a part-time player. These people are into it 100%. And the heart is there, and I'm not saying that somebody on a full ride doesn't have the heart, but this is passion where somebody has to pay for it. I mean, I don't know what Methodist University cost. I know where I went, and I graduated in 2002. I went to a private school. That was on me and the family. You know what I'm saying? So I respect the grind that people put in, because I understand it. And I know that those budgets that somebody's talking, you're talking about the meals, it's more McDonald's money than it is steak money. All right, people?
Without a doubt. It's crazy, man, because like you said before, like the grind, and people don't understand that you got guys that, first off, you got over 100 guys on a football team, college football team. That's normal. But when you have half of your roster, almost 75, 85% of your roster working full-time jobs, that's where the disconnect is, because you don't have a lot of division. I got friends, like I said, I got division guys that play Division I football, and they're sitting there like, man, I get a stipend check every month. Well, we don't get that. You know what I'm saying? We do not get that. And some of us got to go to work. Some of us got families. Some of us got, we got to do homework. We got tutoring sessions. We got things like that, man. And it's a blessing to be in a position to be able to play college ball, but it's a different grind. That's all.
And just so for our listeners, I don't think people understand that there are still NCAA stipulations for GPA requirements as you go up every year. So your freshman year, it's a lower GPA, but once you get in your sophomore year, you have to maintain a slightly higher, and once you get in your junior year, slightly higher. Then you get into your senior season. The fall athlete, there's no give me if you really look at it. Your freshman year, okay, you got your give me because you're playing in the fall. You really don't have a GPA. Yeah. If you don't even practice in the spring, you still have to you got to have that level. So I don't think a lot of people understand the grind, the commitment, because you still have to hold that GPA. You're not just, I'm just playing ball. NCAA is still drug testing. A portion of the players no different. It's same, but just different. No one's on a free ride. It's pure passion. So I know we just kind of beat a dead horse there a little bit, but you and I can relate on that D3 thing. And it doesn't matter how many more years ahead of you I was. It's a different landscape. And I think some people don't understand it. It's really good of a slight education or a quick education here for them. Were you fortunate enough to receive any Senior Bowl invitations? Because I know they still give them out for various divisions. Did you get to play in any Senior Bowls?
I participated in 3 Senior Bowl games, quote unquote.
Awesome.
The first one I participated in was the FAF Senior Bowl. It was in New York. Great game. Just a lot of the top seniors around the country. We came together, played a game. And, it was fun to meet new people. It's funny. The coaching staff for my team specifically was a team that had moved into my conference in college, my senior year, Southern Virginia University. So their coaching staff were actually our coaching staff for our team. So that was fun. So it was kind of a little familiarity right there. And I had one other teammate, Nate Jones, to join me. The next week I was invited to the FCS Bowl in Daytona Beach, Florida. And, competing with the FCS guys and some D2 and some D3 guys, just showing that I can compete out there, various NFL scouts, all types of scouts, XFL scouts, overseas scouts, and just show that I can compete, do what I got to do, and just show I can play this game. And the third one I was invited to was the All-American Bowl in Minnesota. Got to play in US Bank Stadium. It was a fun experience, great game. And I had a lot of fun at them because you don't hear about a lot of guys from Methodist University or really anybody in the conference, in our conference, the USA South, getting invited to those games. So it was a blessing for me. And, that's something I'll cherish forever.
I know it's extremely rare for D3 athletes to make it to the top, but we've seen it happen on occasion in the NBA. I believe, if I recall correctly, I don't know his name, there's an offensive lineman that played at Hobart, which is Hobart William Smith in Geneva, New York. I believe he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know if he was on the Super Bowl winning side of it, but it was around that time. So people can make it, and there is legitimate talent. It just, I think, gets that stigma, and it's unfortunate. How did you do when you were playing against, some of those D2 guys and stuff in that Senior Bowl?
So I would say the FCS Senior Bowl, the thing that people question has always been my size. They've always questioned my size. I was measured at that time at 5'8", 213 pounds. That's not prototypical at all as a defensive end. I played defensive end from my sophomore year all the way up until my senior year in college. I weighed 213 pounds legitimately. I was 213. Obviously, I was the lightest. But I wanted to show that I don't really care about, what you list me as, my size, because you're not going to be able to question my heart. That's the biggest thing. You're not going to be able to question my heart. I'll go out there and I give everything I got to the last whistle, to 4 zeros on the clock. So at the end of the day, I just want to go out there and show that, hey, I can play this game. I didn't get here by accident. And that's what I did. And I felt like I had a good showing. Obviously we always feel as competitors like, hey, I want to be able to do more. I wanted to do more. When you watch the film over, you're like, I could have did this better. But at the end of the day, that's why you go back to the drawing board. You go back in the lab and you get back to work. And that's what I did. And I was satisfied with what I did. But I just wanted to show everybody that, my size, that should never be a question because my heart explains everything that you get from Khalil Patterson.
I know we're going to go back here a little bit, but there's a guy, Doug Flutie, who's not prototypical, right?
Oh.
Won a Heisman. Okay. Short, really tiny. He was kind of a scrambling quarterback, and we know the stigmas that go on with that. Well, they're looking for that 6'3" to 6'6" guy, pocket passer. He was anything but prototypical. Won a Heisman. Went on, yes, chose to go to the USFL back in the day, but in the CFL, but he ended up in the NFL, a couple of different teams. He played. I mean, it can happen. Drew Brees was at 6 foot. Look at what he's done in the record books.
Exactly.
I mean, I know 6 foot, we kind of look at it, but for a quarterback, he was still 4 to 6 inches too short. He was a pocket passer. But I mean, I know it's a different position. But with your size, I know you're listed as an edge rusher or defensive end and outside linebacker. Are those the two positions you've typically played?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know with spring football that a lot of people get into the roster wherever they can, and usually the roster sizes have been smaller, even though it doesn't sound like the XFL is going to have as small of a roster size this time around. But people have typically had to be a little bit more of hybrids. And the fact that you do kind of play two positions is ideal. Even though with your size, has anybody ever talked to you about maybe shifting to like a safety, free safety? Is it maybe a strong safety kind of? Has that ever been a conversation with you, or has it just been you've proven everybody wrong where that just hasn't happened?
It's been a conversation with a few people. I'm very open to anything to help the team that, gives me an opportunity. But the thing about it is, I've never truly had a position playing football ever in my career. I've played quarterback. I've played kicker. I've played punter. I've played offensive line at one point. I played everywhere on the defense. I played everywhere on the offense. So going from high school, up until now, just literally playing defensive end from my sophomore year all the way throughout my senior year was the longest that I played a position. And that's just because I literally showed everything that they needed to see, and they knew what they were going to get from me, and I was going to be able to help the team. But I've always been able to move around. But to answer your question, I'm always open to moving. I talk to, different people to say, hey, have you ever looked at being a safety? I said, hey, I would love to be a safety because the guys that I train with, I'm training with DBs all the time. So the way they're training, I'm training the same way. And I'm sitting here like, okay, well, if I can clean this up and I can move like this, I can do this. The transition is nothing because in the league today, you have a lot of guys that are playing that strong safety. You're playing in the box still. And when you're playing coverage, you're just playing coverage. If you know your coverage responsibilities, at the end of the day, it's nothing different. Football is football at the end of the day. People got to stop making it so complicated.
It seems so simple, but those stigmas still exist. For whatever reason, the experts and even fans, the Mel Kiper's always kind of, the size. We've all heard the mock drafts and the draft analysis when somebody's being drafted for the NFL. It's no different here, right? It really isn't. Right. Whether it's going to be the USFL or now the XFL in this case. Mm-hmm. Those guys are looking at things a certain way. Yes, breakaway data is a little bit different at the showcases, and they're kind of digging in a little bit deeper. But they still have certain way of doing things. They're not throwing out the old playbook or rule book of how they find talent. These guys are professionals. They've been doing it for a while. So with that stigma, one, you're a D3 player, and everyone's always looking at that Division I Power 5 school standout. Two, you're undersized. How do you go about proving that stigma wrong?
I just outwork everybody, man. And I don't mean, going to the weight room, lifting 500 pounds every day. That's not what I mean. Outworking somebody is literally doing everything you can times 10. So for me, I know, I got to get stronger. Cool. I can get stronger. but I got to be able to move. I got to be able to do this. I got to be able to do that. I'm a film junkie. I love to watch film because how do you think you're going to get better as an athlete, as a football player? You have to be able to watch film. You got to correct your mistakes. You got to understand what you're doing. You got to understand concepts. You got to understand not even what you're looking at. You got to understand what the guy beside you is supposed to be looking at, what the people in front of you. For me, it's just something I enjoy doing. And for me, that's what I've had to do my whole career. Honestly, is just outwork everybody and just, hey, I might be undersized, but guess what? You have nothing to worry about. You put me in the game. And that's something I took pride in high school. That's something I took pride in college. And, it got me here, and I'm just blessed and I'm appreciative, man. So they getting everything, a hard worker for me. So
I'm not aware of any professional experience. Have you played any arena or overseas?
Nope, not at all.
So you are a rookie in the full sense of the word.
I'm a rookie.
No, it's just good to know because, I'm not the best researcher. I can find things, but I don't always find it all. I understand that you participated at the XFL Florida Showcase.
Yes, sir.
How was that overall experience?
It was an experience, seeing guys that played at some of the Power Fives and, just basically telling yourself that, hey, go in and compete. You don't have to compete with them, compete with yourself, compete with the moment. So at the end of the day, I just want to go out there and show what I've been working on. Testing's never really been my thing, but, when I step on the field, I'm trying to prove something, but it's funny after the showcase, my drills were good. And I sat there and told myself, I said, hey, if the only thing that people have to knock me is dropping 2 balls, then, you did pretty good for yourself. So that's something I laugh about. I dropped 2 balls in 2 of my drills, but it was okay. I got on myself as soon as I got back home, and my trainer, made me do some push-ups. So I got a little swole after that, but it was good, man. It was a good experience.
I was there as a member of the media. I was fortunate, but our window was really tight. So I didn't get to see the whole defensive session in the morning, and I really didn't get to see any of the offensive. So it was like I kind of got in there at the tail end of the defensive session because I think it was designed for us to get the coaches and
right.
Doug Whaley, the executives, kind of so they could break away from it. And I think that's when you guys are having lunches and all that stuff. I did notice on some of the drills, some of the guys weren't getting a lot of reps. Those reps appeared very limited. And some of my other guests that I've had on previously have also said they might have gotten 1 opportunity in 1 drill, or they were blessed to get 2 where other guys only got 1. I know you mentioned you dropped 2, but how much do you think that looks like a hindrance versus maybe it's not? Maybe my information or from what I've got and what I saw didn't really relate to your particular drills.
I was actually with the linebackers, and for all of us, we all had 1 turn. And you got to think about it. That's the reality of this business. You may only have 1 opportunity to showcase whatever it is that you need to showcase. So, that's a very realistic thing that we had to go through. Hey, you get 1 chance to do this drill. If you messed up, you can't sit there and dwell on it like, oh, man. No, you got to get ready for the next drill because at the end of the day, you still have an opportunity. So take advantage of it. So for me, dropping 1 ball, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's go on to the next drill. Let me make sure I get that drill right. Boom, I do the drill. I drop the ball. Cool. Don't dwell on it. Go to the next drill. You can't dwell on it because at the same time, this goes along with football too. You give up a touchdown, guess what? You got to come back out. You're still going to be dwelling on a touchdown. We on to a new possession. If you're going to give up another touchdown, you're going to give up another touchdown. Then you're going to be standing beside coach giving signals. So at the end of the day, you can't dwell on the things that you mess up on. Because when you get another opportunity, hopefully God willing, you get another opportunity, take full advantage of it. And that's all I try to do.
Your head's got to be in the game. If it's not, you got to get somebody else's got his head in the game. Because if you're going to dwell on that one thing, play after play, or for the rest of the game, you might as well not even play. You have defeated yourself. It's what essentially happened.
Exactly. I had to learn that the hard way my sophomore year, man. I did it a lot. Because I didn't play the previous year because I had actually transferred in. So I didn't play the previous year. So when I came back in 2018, I actually came back and I said, all right, I'm trying to get everything right. In football, there's never a chance you're going to go 100%. It's impossible. And for me, I just wanted everything to be perfect. And when it wasn't perfect, I dwell on it. I sit there and I get frustrated during the game. This is like pre-snap. I'll sit here and get frustrated. I sit here and say, what's going on? Like, why is it me? I'm getting in my stands, getting ready for the play. I'm still thinking about the previous play. You can't do that because you got to get ready for the next play. Especially for me, playing Mike that year, I got to set up the defense. So I'm sitting here thinking about the last play. They sitting here wondering what this play is. And I'm saying, like, man, I'm not even focused. I mean, you just got to understand that your opportunities really in this game, they going to come, but you got to take it full advantage of them. And if you don't dwell on it. Hopefully, God willing, you get another one. So, I mean, just live in the moment. Don't dwell on it.
I'll say this. If any player continues to dwell on it, there won't be another opportunity because that is what will define somebody. You're right. So you're right. You got to focus. Next play up, next game up. You got to have a short memory as a player sometimes. Just it's the reality. It's how the success ones are successful. Michael Jordan says, I've missed X. I don't know what the quote he said. I've missed X amount of shots. It's because of that I'm great. It's to know where you got to work. It's to know, hey, the game's just going to keep happening. Basketball is slightly different because it's much more you're playing offense, defense, back and forth. But yes, you got to pick it up. You got to move on. The game's not over, and you're right. It's the only mentality for professional athletes.
It is.
What have you been doing outside of football?
So outside of football, I dabble in some gaming, some streaming things. I'm actually starting my Twitch up. I'm not really that great of a Twitcher, I would say, a Twitch gamer, but kind of dabbling into it. I had some friends, tell me how to do it, and I started streaming some of my content from gaming as well. I do some podcasts too. I did podcasts in college actually, and did a radio show actually in college. So I go back to the Methodist, and I go back into the radio room, and I'll talk a little bit on the radio, and just that's things that I like to let loose and just have fun, play some music, and talk about various topics. It's fun for me. Interview people, love to do that. Trying to get my YouTube going with some different things going on with that. So I dabble in a lot of things. Like I said, I'm a communication major, so man, I like to dabble in a lot of things like that are a lot of people wouldn't do, So, but yeah, that's all I really do, man.
Give us a plug. Give us all these avenues. If you got these things in the works, let our listeners check you out. Where can they do so on these?
All right. So, first off, my YouTube is KP, just capital K, capital P. You'll find some football videos on there. I'm in production right now with my gaming stuff. That'll be up in about a week or so. My Twitch is Lil, capital I, 11s, literally the number ones, and then capital L, and then I, capital I, and then a capital L. So Lil on Twitch. And if y'all want to play me on Xbox, you can't beat me in Madden, man. So K Diesel 3, if you want to play me in Madden, y'all can't beat me in Madden. Let's wait till Madden 23 come out, because y'all definitely won't beat me in Madden. So yeah, man, just I'm too good on the sticks with it. I'm too good.
There you go. I'm not as much of a gamer these days. I'm also 42, so I think I'm starting to sail. But
everybody.
I used to love playing the college games. So they're coming on the horizon again. Where it is, they're coming back.
Yeah.
So I could be enticed to kind of come back into the fold. I used to be difficult to beat on the NCAA footballs.
Oh,
and the thing is, I played with 4 plays, and I was Army, predominantly running, and nobody could stop me. It's not even
I couldn't play.
I had like 4 plays, two run plays, and 2 pass plays, and I would just pound people. I rarely use the pass, but the formation was the same all the time. You didn't know which one was coming out of it. It was one of the 4 plays.
You see, as soon as, because EA Sports likes to glitch, so you hit me with one of those glitchy plays, I'm gonna say.
Oh, that's right. I had my system. We talk about system quarterbacks or system players. I had a system as a gamer. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. You're represented by Level Up Sports. How did you link up with them, and how important have they been in assisting you throughout your process in pursuing your goals?
Well, first off, let me say Ms. Lauren has been great. Level Up is great in general. She actually found me through Twitter. She kind of just hit it off, and she basically, created avenues for me, just letting me know what was out there, because I was stuck. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know who to look to. I didn't know what events were coming up. I didn't know how to get my name out there better. And she was able to, let me know and help me out how to get my name out there. And I've been nothing but appreciative for everything she's done for me, man. And it's been a journey so far, but she's definitely helped, put me into a position where I am, today right here. So I can't do nothing but appreciate the thing that she's done for me. Level Up Sports taking me in, and I just want to take off, man. That's it, man. But it's been a blessing, though, to be incorporated with Level Up Sports.
I will say I have been interacting with a number of agents. This is a lot of stuff people don't know about podcasts, is everything that it goes just to get somebody like you on the show. Sometimes you could just coordinate directly. But I have been working with several agents, and there are two that are levels above anybody else. And Lauren is one of the two. I'll agree. She's been awesome. And Buddy from Pro Player, whatever, awesome as well. Those two, to me, and again, I don't know the integral workings, but they are just awesome to interact as far as a host. And it's awesome that you guys have somebody like that. I'll say, because they're not all agents are the same.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
As I've mentioned previously, I've had an XFL executive on the show before, and I'm not saying that they listen, but they tune in from occasion. So I typically provide each of my guests an opportunity or a last plea. If XFL coaches or key staff members were to tune into this episode to hear your story, what is there about you that is unknown that you want them to know? And why should they offer you a draft invitation and ultimately select you over another player?
Well, I know a lot of guys speak about, being a team first guy and this, that, and the sort, but I'm really a team first guy. You don't have to sit here and worry about me, fighting you back or arguing with you about, hey, I play linebacker, I play defensive end. No, whatever you need me to play to help better this team, whatever you need me to do to help better this team, I'm going to do. And I'm going to lead by example. I'm not a rah-rah guy. I'm not the type that's going to yell and get in somebody's face. I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to lead by doing. You're going to have to kick me out of the facility. That's one thing, too. You're going to have to kick me out of the facility because I'm one of those guys. I put on my hard hat and I go to work. It's time to work. This is all I've wanted to do, since I've been 3 years old, man. And at the end of the day, I want to be successful at this, and I want to be one of the greatest. And that's just something I put into my mind every day when I wake up, when I step on the field, when I go to training. Whatever it is I'm doing, I'm trying to be great at it. And this is something that I want to be great at, and that's all you're getting from me. You're getting a hard-nosed guy who's ready to, get down and dirty. Whatever it is that you need me to do, I'm with it. You don't have to worry about any character issues. You don't have to worry about trying to get me mentally there. I'm going to be there. So we're going to meet on the common ground. I'm going to be able to communicate with you about football, about life, whatever it is that you need me to do. I'm with it. You don't have to worry about all the off-field drama or anything like that. I got a good head on my shoulders, and I just want to compete, and I just want to play ball. I want to be able to show everybody that, hey, this kid Khalil Patterson is special. And I truly do, believe that, I have some good things coming, and I just want to be able to, show everything that I've been working on, man. I'm blessed just to be in this position. So, whatever God has for me in store, I'll be ready. That's a fact. I'll be ready.
Khalil, it has been a pleasure. I appreciate you taking the time to come onto the show and talk to me about your XFL Showcase experience and overall journey. I hope you receive that invitation to the XFL draft in November. But more importantly, I hope you get selected and we get to see you play in 2023.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
If so, I would love to have you come back on again sometime so we can discuss just how things are going for you, how, your team's doing and whatnot.
Definitely, man. I just appreciate being on the platform and being able to speak my story and just be able to show that, hey, everybody, guys may be smaller, guys may not look the part, but there's some guys out there that can ball, and I think I'm one of those guys. So I'm just going to tell the world, y'all, look out for Khalil Patterson. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be with it. So
if Muggsy Bogues could play in the NBA at 5'3", I can't see why you can't play in the XFL at your position without changing.
Hey, I put it like this, man. The shortest defensive end I actually watched back in the day Elvis Dumerville was 6 foot 260. He was 6 foot going up against 6'6" dudes, 6'7", whatever. I mean, look how his career turned out. So at the end of the day, if you could play football, you could play football. And I mean, my accolades, I mean, they speak for themselves. So I'm just telling you, when it's my time, I'm going to be ready. Nobody has to worry about me getting in shape or anything like that. I'm going to be ready. So I'm not even going to sweat it.
I know you already kind of give us some of the platforms of your side gigs there, your hobbies, if you will. If our listeners wanted just to follow your overall journey, where can they do so?
So my Instagram is _IamKJPat11. And my Twitter is @Patterson Khalil, capital P and capital K. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Let's connect. Let's talk. Let's talk ball. Let's talk life. I love being able to give people motivation. I also, love to show people what it is I'm doing when Lauren tells me, when to do it, because I'm not really a social media, junkie, but whatever it is, man, people just need to talk to me or whatever. Those are the avenues you can find me on. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Khalil.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I enjoyed having the opportunity to chat with Khalil. There are numerous players who have played their collegiate careers in lower divisions, some of which have gone on to play in the National Football League. I believe it is important to get to learn the stories of these players. After all, the XFL are leaving no stone left unturned, and we are likely going to see a good number of players like Khalil on XFL rosters come 2023. There hasn't been any Let's Talk XFL fan line messages this week. But if you have a comment, question, or hot take and would like to be heard on the show, reach out to Let's Talk XFL fan line by calling 863-TALK-XFL or 863-825-5935. Doing so, your message could be included in an upcoming episode. All good things must come to an end. This concludes another episode of Let's Talk XFL. As always, I am interested in receiving your feedback. So do not be a stranger. Reach out to let me know your thoughts, and if you do so, your comments might just make it on the show. But before you go, do not forget to subscribe and rate the show on your platform of choice. One last thing. If you're interested in checking out our friends over at Royal Retros by 503 Sports, do not forget to click on the link in the show's description and notes, as well as that sweet code, Let's Talk XFL, for 10% off your purchase. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time, cheers.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. Don't forget to subscribe and rate Let's Talk XFL on your platform of choice. Follow Let's Talk XFL on Facebook and Twitter at Let's Talk XFL. Do you have a question or topic you would like to have addressed on the show? Message the show via social media or send an email to letstalkxfl@gmail.com.